Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping action thriller movie Nobody. The movie begins with a beaten and handcuffed man reaching for a cigarette in his pocket. Instead, he pulls out a tin of tuna and opens it. On the opposite side of the table, a woman and a man question him while a kitten emerges from his jacket. This man is Hutch Mansell, leading what appears to be a normal life. He is married to Becca, a successful woman, and they have 2 children together. Hutch works at his father-in-law Eddie's metal fabrication company, but he is growing tired of his monotonous routine. His son Blake shows no respect for him, not even greeting him when he comes home from work. The relationship between Hutch and his wife is strained, symbolized by a pillow separating them in bed. One night, Hutch goes outside to investigate a barking dog and discovers intruders breaking into his house. He attempts to make a phone call, but one of the intruders, a woman, points a gun at him and demands money. Hutch notices a tattoo on her wrist and realizes his son Blake is downstairs. Blake confronts one of the intruders, and Hutch prepares to strike her with a golf club. However, he stops himself and tells Blake to let her go. They escape after punching Blake, leaving him with a black eye. The incident leaves Hutch feeling guilty for not protecting his family. They are all disappointed in him, and he sleeps on the couch downstairs. His daughter Sammy joins him, as she is the only one who gets along with him. Sammy suggests getting a cat. And the next day, Blake asks Hutch if he can interview him for a school project on veterans. Hutch dismisses himself as nothing more than an auditor, and suggests that Blake interview his uncle, who is a real soldier. As the family starts their day, a neighbor comments on how he would have fought back against the intruders. He brags about his new car, further adding to Hutch's frustration. At the factory where he works, Hutch faces questioning from his brother-in-law Charlie about not confronting the intruders. Charlie gives Hutch a gun and asks him to protect his sister. Hutch takes the gun and hides it in the back of the refrigerator. Hutch meets with his father-in-law, Eddie, who offers to buy the business from him. Eddie wants a fair deal after a lifetime of hard work, but Hutch just wants something that is his own. Later, Hutch contacts his supposedly dead brother Harry through a radio. He shares his hesitation in attacking the intruders due to their youth and desperation. Harry reassures him that he did the right thing and advises him not to do anything foolish. Back home, Hutch finds his family gathered around the dinner table. Blake barely acknowledges him, and Becca asks about his day. Sammy mentions losing her kitty cat bracelet, which was stolen by the intruder. Hutch visits his father once again, who urges him to do what needs to be done. His father lends him an old FBI badge and gun to track down the burglars. Hutch goes to tattoo parlors, showing his badge, but the people there mock him for its age. He reveals a picture of the tattoo on the intruder's wrist and demands information. Their attitude changes when they see the tattoo, and they provide Hutch with the address of someone who has the same tattoo. Then, he proceeds to the address and enters the apartment, pointing his gun at the girl's boyfriend. He demands the return of his watch and the kitty cat bracelet. Their baby wakes up due to their shouting, and Hutch quickly exits the apartment. Filled with anger and sadness, he punches a wall repeatedly. Eventually, he boards a bus. Suddenly, a vehicle approaches and stops the bus. 5 thugs approach the closed door, causing the young girl on the bus to feel frightened. The female bus driver appears scared as she opens the door for the thugs. They enter the bus and begin intimidating and harassing the passengers. Hutch, sitting quietly at the back of the bus, observes as the thugs surround the young girl. Gathering his courage, Hutch stands up and walks through the thugs. He instructs the driver to leave the bus, closes the door, and confronts the thugs. Hutch removes the bullets from his gun, much to the amusement of the boys. He threatens them, but they laugh at him. This ignites Hutch's already boiling anger, and he unleashes his fury on the thugs, viciously beating them. Despite getting injured himself, Hutch continues to fight, almost beating the thugs to death. He finally exits the bus and apologizes to the driver for the chaos. When Hutch arrives home, he finds his wife sitting in the darkness. She asks him where he has been, and he remarks that it felt like old times tonight. As his wife gently tends to his wounds, he mentions that she seems distant and their marriage lacks intimacy. Hutch questions if she remembers who they used to be. In response, Becca removes the pillow that separates them on the bed and initiates physical contact. In the next scene, a passenger verbally abuses his driver for missing their destination. Yulian Kuznetsov, a mob enforcer, steps out of the car and enters a club. He goes on stage, singing and dancing before approaching a group of men. Yulian inquires if they are satisfied with the security for OBD Shack. They express doubts, stating that his singing and dancing do not inspire confidence. In response, Yulian kills one of the men, questioning if their confidence has been restored. Yulian then receives a phone call and is shown standing by his brother's bedside. His brother's brain has been severely damaged, and Yulian assumes it is connected to OBJ Shack. Another injured man in the room shows Yulian a Metro card he obtained during the bus fight. The following day, Hutch seems happier and prepares for his day. He tells his son that he is proud of him for confronting the intruders. Hutch receives a phone call from his brother, who advises him to seek out a man known as the Barber. The Barber possesses the information Hutch needs and informs him that Julian's younger brother, whom Hutch beat up, is seeking revenge. The OBJ shack is involved in a multi-million-dollar operation, and Julian is tired of the responsibility. Julian's henchmen are trying to locate Hutch's father, and Julian blackmails a man in the Pentagon to access information on Hutch. Hutch, oblivious to the ongoing threats, happily prepares a meal for his family and suggests a trip to Italy. However, his joy is short-lived as he notices a car approaching and instructs his family to go to the basement immediately. Julian has sent his dogs, led by Pavel, to attack Hutch. In the midst of the chaos, Hutch fights back, killing most of the attackers. Despite Pavel using a taser on him, Hutch manages to free himself from the handcuffs by dislocating his wrists. He finds a fire extinguisher and uses it to blind his abductor. The car crashes, and just before Pavel dies, Hutch reveals his true identity. Hutch rushes back home to open the basement door for his family, making a phone call to David to warn him to be cautious. He then frees his family from the panic room, ensuring that Sammy's eyes are covered so she does not see the numerous dead bodies in the house. Hutch arranges for Becca and the kids to go to a safe place, and she requests that he ensure his return to them. Becca drives away with the children to a safe place. Hutch places all the deceased and injured men on his couch and begins speaking. He reveals that he used to work as an auditor and assassin for intelligence agencies, eliminating individuals who believed themselves untouchable. However, he had a change of heart when he spared a man he was supposed to kill, only to later discover that the man had rebuilt his life and found happiness. This prompted Hutch to retire against the wishes of his superiors. Since then, he has done everything possible to distance himself from his previous life in the shadows. As he surveys the scene, Hutch notices a kitty cat bracelet lying next to a pool of blood under the radio. Before leaving, he addresses the dead man, acknowledging that he knew deep down that his facade would eventually crumble. He sets his house on fire, ensuring that all traces of his killings are destroyed. As he walks out of the house, he takes a photograph of his family. Remembering his obnoxious neighbor who once boasted about his new car, Hutch decides to steal that very car and drive away. In the next scene, two assassins arrive at the nursing home and head straight to Hutch's father's room. Pretending to be asleep, Hutch's father swiftly eliminates both assassins. We then see Hutch pouring a bag filled with gold bars onto Eddie's desk, informing him that he is buying the company. Meanwhile, Julian watches the news footage and learns that Pavel has been killed by Hutch. Hutch temporarily shuts down the factory, his desk now covered with weapons and ammunition. Harry contacts him on the radio, and Hutch shares his plan. He drives to where the mob is counting their illicit money and launches a fierce attack, seizing the Van Gogh painting and setting fire to Julian's valuable artwork alongside piles of money. After delivering a fatal blow, Hutch proceeds to meet Julian at the club. Julian is surrounded by his henchmen, but Hutch reveals he has an explosive device hidden under his napkin, holding the detonator in his hand. Hutch sits across the table from Julian and informs him that he has reduced everything Julian owns to ashes. Julian becomes furious. Hutch offers Julian a choice, to come after him or to take what little remains and flee. After conveying this message, Hutch leaves the club. Julian, enraged, mobilizes every man under his payroll to pursue Hutch, who is at the factory. David and Harry join him to confront the gangsters, using advanced weapons and their expertise to outmaneuver and eliminate the gunmen. They successfully take down all the assailants except Julian, who shoots Harry. Hutch charges at Julian with a claymore mine attached to a pane of bulletproof glass, detonating it and killing Julian. Hutch expresses gratitude to Harry and David, who depart as police cars approach. Hutch leaves a loving message for Becca, and as he departs, a kitten appears. He carries a painting with the kitten wrapped in his jacket and is subsequently arrested by the police. Returning to the opening scene, Hutch is swiftly released without charges filed against him. 3 months later, while purchasing a new house with Becca, Hutch receives a phone call suggesting that his services are still required. In a mid-credit scene, Harry and David are seen driving to an undisclosed location in an RV filled with guns. Overall, movie is a Noboby's journey of self-discovery as he confronts his past and reclaims his purpose, with moments of emotional depth, ultimately delivering an exhilarating and satisfying cinematic experience. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this recap. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.